So, I was watching Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 the other day. And you're thinking, why were you watching that, Darryl? I don't have a good answer. Does this mean I've watched the first 4 movies leading up to this one? Yes. Anyway, there was something in this crap movie that I watched that got me thinking, and there was a scene that stuck in my mind. So anyway, this is going to contain spoilers, so if you're if you're a Twilight fan and you haven't seen it, switch off. So by this stage in the Twilight saga, Bella, our heroine, she's a vampire now, okay? She's just been turned into a vampire, and she has to go on a hunt because she's got the bloodlust, because that's the way vampires are, right? They lust for blood. So she's in the forest with Edward, her husband, her vampire husband, and she sees this, I think it's a deer, she sees this cute deer in the woods, and this hunger just comes over her, and you can see it in her face, she really wants to kill this deer and drink its blood, because in the Twilight series, good vampires don't drink humans' blood. Which is fair enough, in a way. But when I saw this about to happen, I thought, oh my goodness, are we actually going to see something here? You know, are we going to see Bella tear this animal apart and drink its blood? And for the first time in the whole Twilight saga, I was on the edge of my seat, thinking this could actually be interesting. And you know what happens? There's a growl from nearby, and this convenient mountain lion, this nasty, evil mountain lion appears, and it's about to attack the deer. So Bella jumps on the nasty mountain lion, saving the deer's life and killing and drinking the blood of the bad animal. So it's like, you know, I'm assuming this is in the book, and what this is from the movie I'm talking about, but I'm assuming this same thing is in the book. So there's Stephanie Meyer, the author, has absolutely, she doesn't have the courage of her convictions. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. She's writing a vampire book. Vampires are predators, bloodsuckers. So she's turned Bella into a vampire, and then she goes, oh, but that would be too much. Oh, I don't think we can show that. No. Yeah, we bring in this nasty animal, and she'll kill the nasty animal, and we let the good animal go free, the cute animal. So she has no respect for her readers. She has no convictions about the genre she's writing in. She has absolutely no courage, no sense of realism whatsoever, and yet the teenagers, they just lap this crap up. Now here's the thing, what happens on Bella's second hunt, her third hunt, her fourth hunt? You see, you're not supposed to think about that, because the story then, it's got that out of the way, it takes you in another direction, and you don't have to think about the fact that Bella is a predator, a blood drinker. And the funny thing is, you know, I was watching the rest of this movie, and the vampires have all got these different powers. Like Bella can why am I talking about this? This is going somewhere. Trust me, this is going somewhere. Bella can shield someone. Somebody else has got this. Some other vampire has these electrical bolts that she can shoot from her fingers, and another one can touch you and see into your mind. Another one can project a fake reality, so you start seeing stuff that isn't there. And I'm watching this movie thinking, this is a superhero movie. They've taken out everything that makes this to do with vampires. Now, what I really want to talk about here is two things. I want to bring two subjects up in this video. The first one is that we have a tendency to find mythological significance for our lives in our favourite movies and favourite TV shows. I wonder, have you maybe noticed this? I like the vampire myth, and the reason I like it is because it forms a mirror of the human struggle, what you might say the struggle against sin, to put it in a Christian context, or the feeling of being at war with oneself. The feeling of having a beast within you that you have to harness and control. Now, we all have that to one extent or another. We are predators. It's like, my favourite example of this is the old TV series Forever Knight. That's Knight with a K, from the 1990s. It was a vampire cop TV series. But the thing that was really interesting about it is that this vampire cop would take us on these flashbacks back into centuries ago, when he was a different kind of vampire, a vampire that killed other human beings, whereas now he's trying to kind of reclaim his humanity. And the cool thing about it was, even though it's kind of a tacky TV series, the cool thing about it was that he actually did kill innocent people. You know, the story didn't always stop it before he killed someone. He would find a lover, and he would be passionately making love to this woman, and then he would drink her blood, not intending to kill her, and then he would accidentally take too much, and she'd be dead, and he'd have to live with it because he actually did have feelings for her. Stuff like this was going on. And then there was times where he just killed innocent people because he wanted to feed and he was hungry. Meanwhile, back to the present, he remains ever cheerful as this man struggling against his own nature. Well, he's a vampire, of course, but it's symbolic of the struggle that we all have. Now, we don't have bloodlust, we're not going to kill people, but we all have things about ourselves that we don't like, that we struggle against as we try to stay meaningful, productive members of society. We've all got a dark side, and the vampire myth allows us to see a mirror of that in fiction. So Stephenie Meyer, she doesn't even get this. And maybe if she's trying to do something else, what is she trying to do? It doesn't make any sense. She took the vampire out of vampires. It's ridiculous. So that brings me to the second point that I wanted to make. I mean, before I move on, there are other, I'm looking at my DVD collection over here, there are other things that I find symbolic relevance in. I have a particular attachment to the Mad Max movies, because it's kind of the theme of the broken man who still maintains his dignity, and yet he feels like he's a loner, that he doesn't belong. And these kind of things, they speak to me on some level. I've always liked a television series called The Tripods, because it was all about a mind-controlled society that everybody thought was normal, except these couple of boys who are only about 15 years old. They know the truth, that everybody is actually brainwashed and mind-controlled, and that the human race is under slavery to this alien race. So they have to leave home and go on a journey to find where the other free people are. And the trouble is, you go through a rite of passage into adulthood by having this metal implant put into your head, where all of your curiosity and your aggression are taken away, and you become compromised forever. But everybody thinks that's normal. So these guys, these young boys, are always wary of the danger posed by ordinary people all around them. And this speaks to me on a profound level as well. The feeling of being the outsider, the feeling of being in danger from everyone around you who who thinks the way society thinks, you know. So again, have a think about what your favourite movies and TV shows are, and have a think about whether there is any mythological significance, whether there are any deep themes running through particular movies and TV shows that resonate with you. And you may find some surprising insights when you have a little think about this. So back to Stephenie Meyer. She is an example of something that is one of the root problems of most religion and spirituality in the world. And I would simply call it lack of realism. Refusal to face life on its own terms, as it is, as it truly is, without masking it with various self-delusional compensations of one kind or another. The Christian simply cannot face what he is as a carnal being. He has to become something else, something made up, some holy man that isn't real, because he doesn't like the animal nature. The flesh is sinful and the spirit is pure, this kind of reasoning. And the spirit is at war with the flesh, where in reality it's actually the neocortical brain at war with the limbic brain and the reptilian brain. That's really what's going on there. But once you realize that, you can then integrate the parts of yourself. You can see the inner war that's going on with yourself as something natural, that the neocortical brain is supposed to, that's the higher primate brain, it's supposed to govern the more basic animal passions, and that's how we work. But there's nothing wrong with us. We're not fallen in some way that needs to be fixed. So religions, they tend not to be realistic about life, in particular about sexuality. I mean, think of the Christian prohibition against sexual thoughts. That's absolutely ridiculous and has given rise to no end of guilt, especially among young people. It's maybe not as bad today as it was in my day, but I can remember having so much guilt over an inability to control sexual thoughts as a young Christian. So lack of realism, and even it's not just religions; it's other spiritual views as well. You get people talking about low vibrational energy and things like this. You have to get rid of low vibrational energy. You have to not fear but only love, and stuff like this. This is all nonsense, you know. If you think of the deer being attacked by the mountain lion in Twilight, can you say to that deer, "Oh, don't be afraid, just love"? Fear is low vibrational energy. That's complete nonsense. That deer's eyes are going to go wide with terror, and he's going to run because that's what's going to keep him alive. And if the mountain lion should catch the deer and tear it limb from limb, it's going to be screaming in agony. And this is a part of nature. So you can go one of two ways with that. You can say this is evidence that there's something wrong with nature, as in there was a fall from grace. Or you can say there's nothing wrong with nature. This is meant to happen. It's meant to be this way. This idea that we can be free from suffering is an illusion. Suffering is meant to be, just as pleasure is also meant to be. And the reason we can feel pleasure is because we have sensitive bodies. And because we have sensitive bodies, that means there is always the potential for pain. It can't be any other way if you really think about it. And these same things that play out on the macroscopic level of creatures, large-scale organisms, animals, this also plays out on the microscopic arena, because if you look at a droplet of water, there's a war going on between microbes. There's a war going on in your immune system right now. Your immune system takes out more invaders than you're even aware of. It's only when a cold or something like that grabs a hold of you, that you actually notice your immune system doing anything at all. But it's constantly battling invaders. The universe is satanic. And by that I mean the universe is adversarial. Satan, adversary. You know what I mean? I was answering a question earlier on today by somebody who disagreed that Satan should be used in a metaphoric sense, that he should only be used if you believe in Satan for real. You shouldn't use him in the sense of being just a symbol, a mascot, a symbolically relevant myth. Think about it like this. If you're a narcissist, does that mean you believe in the Greek mythical character Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection? No, of course not. But that's where the word comes from. If you're a Vandal, does that make you a member of the nation, the Vandals, who sacked Rome way in the past, from which we get the word Vandal? No, of course not. If you're a mercurial person, does that mean that you believe in the Roman god Mercury? No, of course not. You see what I'm getting at here? All sorts of things from antiquity, characters, gods, places, we use them in language because of their symbolic relevance. And I could go on and cite numerous other examples. The reason why a Christian gets all bent out of shape about someone who uses the term Satanism, Satanist, in a purely mythical sense, is because the Christian believes in a real Satan. Whereas somebody like me, who doesn't believe in Satan, well then the character Satan just becomes part of that existing tradition of myth from which I can draw symbolically relevant things for my own life. Does that make any sense? I hope so. Otherwise, they're coming for me with the pitchforks.